Welcome. I'm very happy to do this introductory session about the Madyamakavatara, the wisdom of the middle way, exploring emptiness. First, I would like to set the motivation by sharing the following thoughts. For this, I will share the screen. As you can see on the top right, I chose a bird, actually a swan, that has two wings. One is compassion and one is wisdom. According to Geshe Acharya Thupten in his book Meditations on the Path to Enlightenment, it has deep meaning. The great Indian Bodhisattva Chandrakirti, whose text is one of the basic texts we will use during this series, explained that compassion or method and wisdom are like the two wings of a bird. A bird cannot fly with only one wing. And in the same way, the two wings of compassion, method, and wisdom are needed to gain enlightenment. Method is the principal cause of a Buddha's form bodies, the emanation and enjoyment bodies. Wisdom is the principal cause of the Buddha's mental bodies, the wisdom truth body and the nature body. Wisdom alone would only bring liberation, not enlightenment. And method alone would only bring higher rebirth within cyclic existence. Together, though, they bring the highest result of complete enlightenment, the four bodies of a Buddha. To set our motivation, I chose these two verses, one from the Madyamakavatara, the root verse 1.2. It is connected to compassion. Mercy alone is seen as the seed of a conqueror's rich harvest, as water for development, and as ripening in a state of long enjoyment. Therefore, at the start, I praise compassion. And to the side of wisdom, emptiness, I chose from the Long Rim Prayer from Lama Chopa, the verse 108. Samsara nirvana lack even an atom of true existence, while cause and effect and dependent arising are unfailing. I seek your blessings to discern the import of Nagarjuna thought, which is that these two are complementary and not contradictory. Next, I would like to share how this series came about, a bit about my background, and some information about the structure of the sessions. By doing this series, I am instructing myself. I'm not a scholar, and my mother tongue is not even English. But I love practicing and studying, discussing and reflecting the ancient wisdom Buddhist texts to further deepen the incredible valuable meaning and making it accessible to others in a simple way. I've learned so much. I try to implement the insights into my everyday life in my psychological work with people. This is my motivation for starting this project. A little bit about my background. All my life, I have been interested in the profound questions about why is there so much suffering in our personal life and between people in general. Very early, I started to investigate these questions with my first teacher. He then introduced me later as a teenager to the technique of meditation. In my early 20s, I encountered Buddhism, my most honored Tibetan teachers, and started to practice daily. At the same time, and during the following years, I finished a bachelor in education and psychology, a master in psychotherapy, and postgraduate studies in coaching and counseling in management. Between 2010 and 2021, I studied and finished the basic and master's programs with the FPMT Geshe studies at Nalanda Monastery in France. Since then, if I'm not following or attending teachings or do retreats myself, I currently work as a teacher and psychologist living in the Alps of Switzerland. How this series came about? Following a request from Tibet House in Germany, I prepared the Madyamakavatara, the Ornament of Clear Realization by Maitreya, for their study program. Later, I taught the entire text to a friend weekly based on the mind maps I had drawn in detail during the studies, which deepened my understanding further. Subsequently, I was asked to work through the text Madyamakavatara by Chandrakirti in the same way, but this time to record the sessions so other people could also benefit from it. In this series, each session about 30 to 40 minutes long on a weekly basis, we will mainly explore emptiness, according to the clarification by the Indian sage Nagarjuna in his famous text Fundamental Wisdom of the Middle Way. The lessons will be available on YouTube, and so anyone can watch or listen to them in their own rhythm and time. As before, I will use my mind maps drawn during the Nalanda oral teachings of Madyamaka, given by Geshe Champal. To visualize a content helps us to incorporate a learning subject much better than just by listening to it. I suggest drawing mind maps as a tool for anybody and for this further discussion with other students. You might not always be able to read everything written on the mind maps. It is not so important, as I will point out the essence. You have to know that when I draw these mind maps, I had never ever thought that anybody else would ever look at them. And I was also under some time pressure to just put all these what had been said during the lecture immediately on the mind maps and put them together. So I also used sometimes abbreviations. A word about the meaning of study. Specifically, the study of Buddhist philosophy is not meant to be exclusively an intellectual exercise, but rather to help myself and all those interested into the understanding of what is reality. Hopefully, it will be an effective support to understand and reduce the suffering in our lives, and eventually to develop our qualities to their full potential. I will certainly make mistakes and hopefully learn from them. And as I ask you, as an interested person, to always use your own intelligence. In the spirit of Buddha's basic request, just as a goldsmith tests gold by burning, cutting, and rubbing it, so you must examine my words and accept them, but not merely out of reverence. This is from the Sutra of the Denser Ray. And now the last thing here in this part, prerequisites. The prerequisites are a basic understanding of the four major Buddhist schools, Vaibhashika, Sautantrika, Chittamatra, and Madyamaka, as well as a basic knowledge of the Lam Rim, the gradated path to enlightenment. Now I will share the screen again. I already mentioned the word Madyamakavatara or middle way a few times. And to start here, I would like to give a brief summary on the background on the middle way. And this statue, the picture that is here, is the Buddha that is in the main Gongpa of Nalanda Monastery. Okay, according to the traditional explanation, our teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha, demonstrated enlightenment at the age of 35 under a Bodhi tree near the town of Gaya in India. It is said that he remained there for 7 weeks before setting out for Deer Park in Sarnath, where he first turned the wheel of Dharma. From that time until he passed into parinirvana 45 years later, he traveled throughout the Ganges plain of northern India, giving teachings in accordance with the various capacities and dispositions of his many listeners. With his passing, disagreement arose within the Buddhist community with regard to the interpretation and authenticity of some of the teachings. In a few important instances, many of Buddha's teachings associated with the Mahayana Great Vehicle were forced into temporary obscurity, virtually disappearing from mainstream Buddhism of the time. Some 400 years later, the Indian sage Nagarjuna recovered these lost teachings and devoted his energy to restoring and consolidating the doctrine of the Mahayana. Nagarjuna retrieved a number of Mahayana sutras, such as the 100,000 stanza Perfection of Wisdom Sutras. The Perfection of Wisdom Sutras, which are among the most profound and supreme teachings Shakyamuni Buddha gave, contain both explicit and hidden meaning. The hidden meaning, which sets out the vast practices and realizations of the bodhisattvas, has been clarified by Maitreya in the Ornament for Clear Realization. The explicit meaning, as was intended by these sutras, the profound view of emptiness, has been clarified by Nagarjuna in several texts. Nagarjuna, by systematically developing the thought of emptiness, created a philosophical system later known as the Middle Way, in Sanskrit, Madyamaka. His most famous work on emptiness is the Treatise on the Middle Way, Madyamaka Shastra, also referred to as fundamental wisdom, and it is this text that Chandrakirti's supplement to the Middle Way is a commentary on. Now, I would like to say a few words about the texts that this teaching series is based on. Tzong Khapa's text, Illumination of the Thought, then Chandrakirti's supplement to the Middle Way, Madyamakavatara, and his auto-commentary to the supplement. Nagarjuna's Fundamental Wisdom of the Middle Way, oral teachings by His Holiness Dalai Lama, the study manual of the FMT Master's Program, and my mind maps drawn during the Master's Program in Nalanda between 2016 2018. And here I would like to share, I thought it's so fascinating how the texts that we have been studying in the program are so much interconnected. And you can see on this chart, or these mind maps, on top left in a yellow circle, there's Buddha Shakyamuni. And he, to the right, had been teaching the perfection of wisdom sutras, also called the Mother. Then, you can see here in this pinkish circle, came later Maitreya, who composed here to the left the ornament of clear realization, as we heard before, which contains the hidden meaning of the vast of the perfection of wisdom sutras. Below, later on, came Nagarjuna in the blue circle, who composed the fundamental wisdom of the Middle Way, the explicit meaning of emptiness, or of the perfection of wisdom sutras. After Nagarjuna, here to the right in the green circle, you can see Chandrakirti. Chandrakirti composed the supplement to the Middle Way, Madyamakavatara, and the auto-commentary to the supplement. And then these texts are a commentary to the fundamental wisdom of the Middle Way by Nagarjuna. And then below, you can see in the red circle, Tzong Khapa, who composed the Illumination of the Thought, which again is a commentary on Chandrakirti's texts. So you can see, even there were centuries, many centuries between these masters who composed the text and lived and practiced and realized, they all are traced back to the teaching of Buddha Shakyamuni. Now, next in this introduction, I would like to give a small overview about the content of this Madyamakavatara. And here you can see on this mind map, in the middle here is the subject, the supplement to the Middle Way, the text. And it has also in this most upper layer, you can see in a bluish pink color, first of all, the meaning of the title. Second chapter, the obeisance of the translator. The third, meaning of the text. And the fourth, the last one, the meaning of the conclusion. The main part is here, the third one, the meaning of the text. And now in red color, again, 4 main chapters. A is the expression of worship. B, the actual body of the text. C, the way the treatise was composed. D, the dedicating the virtue of the composition. And again here, the main part is in the actual body of the text, which has again two main headings. First of all, the causal grounds, and second, the explanation of the resultant ground. And this also is more at the end of the text, but it is a wonderful, wonderful teaching about Buddha's bodies, the state of enlightenment, and all the aspects there. Here, the causal grounds, I will just show a little bit more the content. I chose here just one of the subheadings, the C, that is the presentation of the grounds of a bodhisattva superior in yellow color. And again, it has three main subheadings. First of all, in yellow, the presentation of the 10 grounds in common. Then in green color, the presentation of the individual grounds. And then in blue color to the right, third, the presentation of the qualities of the 10 grounds. And again here, the main part is in the second, in the green, where is the green color, in the second subheading. And it has again, you can see here below to the left, first, the 5 first grounds from the very joyful, stainless, luminous, radiant, difficult to overcome, these 5. Then the 6th ground as a chapter by itself, because it's really a vast topic. Then the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and 10th ground, again, in a chapter by itself. So we hear a lot about the Bodhisattva path, about the practices and the realizations that come with them. And then here, the third one, also is just also presenting all the good qualities that these different grounds of Bodhisattvas have. Okay, now what is one of the main content of this Madyamakavatara? You can see on top here again the title of this mind map, Madyamakavatara by Chandrakirti, and to the left is here what was the purpose of Chandrakirti to compose this text. And here it is said, Chandrakirti distinguishes the correct meaning of the fundamental wisdom by Nagarjuna from the wrong interpretations of the Chittamatra and Svatrantika Madyamaka schools. During the times past, some of the scholars, they did incorrect interpretations of what Nagarjuna meant in his fundamental wisdom. And Chandrakirti clarified and made a correct meaning in his supplement. And how did he supplement it? By way, and you can see it here on the right, by way of the 8 uncommon tenets of the Prasangika, or uncommon points of the Prasangika. Sorry, coming back a little bit bigger. Okay. So these 8 points, the first 3 ones are the Prasangika have a posit uncommon with the Svatantrika. First one, Prasangika is not accepting inherent existence, even conventionally. In hearers and solitary riser Buddhas have the realization of the emptiness of phenomena. Second, Prasangika hold that the conception of the self of phenomena is an afflictive obscuration. And third, the view of emptiness cannot be generated by autonomous syllogism. So these 3 are not common with Svatantrika. The next 3 are uncommon with Chittamatra. The fourth one is Prasangika, they do accept external phenomena. Fifth is Prasangika don't accept a self-knower or self-knower consciousness. And the sixth one, Prasangika, don't accept mind, basis of all. And then the two last ones are uncommon with both. Also both Chitta-Marta and Svatantrika. The seventh is Prasangika hold, disintegratedness is a functioning thing. And the eighth one is Prasangika posit the uncommon position of the 3 times. Actually, I cannot see what I wrote because of it's uncommon positing the 3 times. Now I was able to remember. Okay, these points will come again and again in the text and will be elaborated a lot and further during this series. Okay, by this, we are at the end. I'm at the end of the introduction, but would like to, as usual, to end it with a dedication. Just to remind us by listening and talking and listening and reflecting that all the good energy, the good merit that we did might be used for the benefit all sentient beings, for ourselves and all sentient beings, to just go on this path in whatever way we are there to do it. May the precious body-mind, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase for evermore. In this land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Chandresi Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. And as long as space remains, and as long as sentient beings remain, may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. If there are any information, suggestions, questions about this teaching series, please contact me at this email address. Thank you.